welcome back to the Hype Bulletin, hosted by yours truly, Ralph Bentor. Now, I know I said I would. I know I said in the previous episode I would come back after the game twos were played in all series, but we all know how the Celtics game ended in game two in Boston, and also based off that energy and that negativity, that nepotism, that pessimism about the Celtics when they lose a basketball game and all. Didn't feel like I had the right energy to come in for an episode, but after the game threes and the game fours, definitely have the energy to come back into an episode for the 2023 and 2024 Celtics, who are now up 3-1 on the Cleveland Cavaliers and all. And since after game two and in the first half of game two, I'll still talk about it, even though it does draw a little bit of pain to me. I still will talk about it. Game two, I think the season went into half at 54, tied all, and then in the third quarter, the Cavaliers blew up for some threes, and Donovan Mitchell even hit a big three off Jason Tatum to end that quarter. And they went on a crazy run. I believe they were they were up as much as 27 after that third quarter, honestly. So after that, the Seas had no chance to come back in that game. But they have responded in game three and game four, basically with Jason Tatum basically asserting his dominance in these past two games, honestly. His shot still hasn't returned yet, honestly, but you did see a sense of high level of aggressiveness with him, honestly. I can bring up his stats if ESPN will let me find them real quick. But in game three, there we go. He had 33 points. Crap, I'm trying to get the free throws. There we go. 33 points, 99 from the free throw line. I'm hitting 44% of his shots, unfortunately, so his shot's still not there. But you see his aggressiveness with 25 shots. And then game four, which is crazy, but it's kind of identical. 11 and 25 from the field, essentially at 44%, 2 for me at the three-point line, making them at which would be a 25% clip. I'm sorry, but he was both 9 for 9 in those games, and again with the 33 points and all, high number of rebounds, 13 in game three. 11 in game 5 and on the assists 5 and 4, 6 and 3 and also a block in each game too as well. So he has definitely in the games that we've seen, at least in all, and I would agree, definitely in the games that we've seen, that he's raised his level of aggressiveness just by the shot attempts he's taken, honestly. But still in the flow of the game, honestly, you can argue he's probably maybe settled back for a shot a little bit more, but he's open. He's able to step back, get clear of the defender too as well. I'm looking at a bit of his highlights too as well on the Get Up clip here on ESPN.com. And yeah, he's been able to find his mid range, at least find that mid range. Unable to hit it still, but still be able to find that mid range and also. But you saw his high level of intensity, his high level of aggressiveness in that game, honestly. Even slapping Jaylen Brown in the chest after hitting that big three in game four, honestly. And there's another player right up on his heels, honestly, of playing very well too as well. The Jays in both games have scored 60 points. Jaylen Brown in game three scored 28, and in game four scored 27 and all too as well. So in both games, maybe not in game three. I'm sorry, yeah, 28 in game three, 27 in game four. My math was throwing me off a little bit, but yeah, in both games they scored 60 points at least. Jason Tatum with the 33 and Jaylen Brown with the 28 and 27 respectively in game three and game four. But again, just big things, honestly. Again, especially with Jaylen Brown's free throw struggles, went 7 from 9 at the free throw line in this game, in game four at least, and went 0 for 2 in game three, but went that 7 for 9, so responded from that too as well. It's still shooting at a high clip, honestly, 60% in game four and 76% in game three, and also stepped up big time, honestly. 8 rebounds, 9 rebounds, honestly. Him and Jason really just stepped up their level of intensity, honestly, in those two games. They responded well from game two, honestly. In the third quarter, not the whole game, just the third quarter in game two, they just slipped up defensively, honestly. And you can argue they let their offense affect their defense, and I would argue that was the case, honestly. They just weren't hitting any shots. Derek White was taking some bad shots in that game. I really wasn't liking his shot selection, honestly. And since he hasn't played well lately, now we're seeing that Drew Holiday in the past two games has played very well for this season, honestly. They've emphasized feeding him or finding him a little bit more in the first quarter of both game 3 and 4, honestly, where he ended game 3 with 18 points. I believe his highest game in the playoffs, I think easily, honestly. And went back-to-back with 15-plus points, which he hasn't done since, I think, February, I believe I saw, with 16 points in game 4 and all. 8 rebounds in game 3, 7 rebounds in game 4, 5 assists in both games and all, block in both games. had 3 steals in Game 4, honestly. And you can see he was on point defensively, honestly. I think by far, I think that's the best I've seen Drew Holiday play defensively, honestly, too, as well. And he's been killing it from 3 for 4 in Game 3 and 4 for 8 from 3 in Game 4, honestly. Been very clutch with that step back, too, as well, in the wing and all. Definitely, you can question his shot selection in the first 2 games, honestly. And I'm seeing him, he dropped 14 points in game one of this series at least. But you can question his shot selection, honestly. But since he's found some rhythm, you can see it defensively. He's picked it up, honestly. He's guarding Darius Garland very up to top, honestly. I'd be worried against guards that are younger and have some speed than Drew, but he really picked up his defense here too as well with Darius, and with no Donovan Mitchell in Game 4, unfortunately, with a left calf strain, I believe it is. I think it's on his left side. Darius Garland was going to be in a position to be more aggressive, and Drew Holiday still took care of business. Darius Garland was able to get loose a little bit more, I believe in the fourth quarter and all, late third quarter, fourth quarter, but still Drew Holiday showed up his clamps in most of the situations, honestly, and just making clutch plays as usual, honestly, defensively with those 3 steals and all. So he said since D. White has tapered off after that 4-game stretch, where he was averaging, I believe, like 27 points and all. 2 of those games were 30-point games. Drew Holiday's definitely come and risen his game just as much as the Jays have. You can add him in the Jays, I guess, and all, but Drew Holiday with the 18 points again in Game 3, 16 points in Game 4 and all, with the high number of rebounds with 8 and 7 games respectfully, 5 assists in both and all. I'm excited to see if he can keep this up, honestly, because in the regular season he kind of had a similar slow start, similarly how he's having a slow start in the postseason. But as soon as he was able to figure it out, I believe in December and all, he was able to keep that consistent play, averages 13 to 14 points, and again attack the game defensively, hit at an unbelievable clip at the 3 points, especially in the corner, as we're seeing with the 70% he hit in Game 3 and 54% in Game 4, honestly, just because he shot, no, actually, same amount of attempts and all, but over 70% in Game 3 and 54% in Game 4 and all. So, just mad excited about this and how they turn up the level, honestly. They have been responding. I don't understand why everybody in the national media and Twitter and other spaces, like Twitter spaces that I listen to and all, expect that since the Cleveland Cavaliers don't have Jared Allen, and Donovan Mitchell wasn't playing in Game 4, that the C should be blowing these teams out and all. And I just don't think that's realistic, honestly. Like, they're winning the games that they're supposed to. The Cavs have made runs in both of these games, honestly, and the C's have always responded with a bigger run, if not a similar run, to keep the lead that they previously had, at least. And also, the Cavs in Game 4 came back and led the game by 1, and the season ended up holding the lead, got the lead, and ended up holding the lead for the rest of the game, honestly. So, very optimistic about where they're going. We still no Kristaps Porzingis. We finally saw him on the floor. So I finally saw him on the floor before Game 4, after their shooting round and all, and looked better than how he looked than when we saw clips on them at practice before the series started back in Boston and all. So the fact that they're up 3-1 in a back-to-back series without their real offensive, cheat code that we call it. Me and my buddies in the chat call it, honestly. The cheat code, Kristaps Porzingis, is like the clear opening space of what the Jays and the others can do, honestly, because of the space he creates as a 5, playing outside and able to hit the 3 at a 40 plus clip, honestly, and if not, get streaky and do some crazy numbers, honestly, with it, and do more with mismatches at the post and all too as well. With the mismatches, this team truly let me just say, truly gun for, honestly. I don't like it sometimes at the mismatch hunt, but at the same time, it does remotely be effective for them, especially when Kristaps Porzingis is on the floor and all. So the fact that he's progressing, it seems like pretty well, honestly. Similarly to Giannis, we didn't see Giannis anywhere through practice or shoot around, putting up shots and all, either at practice or at a shoot around and all. So I think that's just a great sign, honestly, for Kristaps. And if the C's can finish off their business in Game 5 in Boston, just more extra time where they don't need Kristaps Porzingis, because obviously if they finish in Game 5, there won't be any games played for them until maybe Sunday, if not Tuesday and all, on either the 19th or the 21st and all. So there's nothing more to worry about. I understand what the national and other people will say, like a team like this should be blowing teams down and all, but the fact that you've won, what is it? We're looking at 6 games out of their 8 games played and all. I'm pretty sure that's a pretty damn good clip sports wise and all. So I'll take that as a C's fan and all. So we'll see how Game 5 goes. There's a good chance of them closing it out in Game 5. With Donovan Mitchell not even playing now too as well. he's day to day on the injury report, but I wouldn't expect him playing in Game 5 with a left strain if he wasn't playing in Game 4. When you can basically argue Cleveland's season was on the line if they're losing that game, being down 1-3, and the percentages of teams winning a series up 3-1, I believe it's over 80% and all. If they end up winning Game 4 and going up 3-1, that's what the Boston Celtics are sitting at, and in their franchise history, they're undefeated. They're undefeated in the situation where they're up 3-1 and all too as well. And in most of the time, I think most of the scenarios they finish that series in 5. I think it's only 2 times the series went to 7 and all. So we'll see. Apparently, the Seas have the easiest path in basketball and all too as well. The prosecutors that I communicate with, unfortunately, in different spaces and all too as well. But we'll see how things finish on Wednesday and also now since I'm what. I always like checking them 10 minutes in. I like to keep things short, and since I don't have to do any interruption while I'm starting a podcast and all, we're keeping things a little bit more shorter than usual, and that's how I typically want it. So I like to build it as a story where if anybody has a chance to listen back and all, they can hear my takes about the postseason from episode 1. We're right now on episode 2 and all, until how many episodes we'll do here, because I think I'd be thinking I'm going to do a instant reaction type each episode at least and all, and I don't know after a Celtics loss if I want to be talking basketball and all. The moods are completely different and all too as well. But we'll talk about the other East series real quick and all. We got the Pacers and the Knicks tied 2-2. The Pacers are coming off a smacking at their place in Game 4, honestly, where you can argue that the Knicks are just tired. Jalen Brunson is dealing with a foot issue. You can honestly argue he's dealing with a whole bunch of issues in the foot injury, honestly, because we clearly saw him get hurt and come off the court in Game 2, if I don't remember if it's on Game 1 and all, and come back and able to help them, enable them to win that game and all. But back at MSG and all, but with their injuries, OG Anunoby unfortunately has a hamstring injury. He's not looking. He's not. Last thing I heard, at least, and all that, he's running in the pool at this point right now. So it's hard to see him get on the floor, and maybe in a Game 7 scenario for Knicks. I would have said if the Pacers could push it, but they're pushing it right now because they forced it 2-2 after being down 0-2 and all. But if the series goes 7, that's where I could see a chance of OG Anunoby coming back with a hamstring issue. But it's looking murky right now, honestly, for him to come back and all. So that's what you're kind of worried about with the Knicks. I feel like the Pacers have been playing offense the whole series, honestly. It's just been certain mistakes. You can blame the refs, or you can blame their inexperience in the playoffs, at least, and all, for their lapses in the first 2 games at MSG, at least, and all. But you gotta like how they're playing offense. They just put out their best offensive output in the postseason, honestly. You can easily argue Halliburton just had his best game in the postseason right now too as well. So he could be getting more healthier while the Knicks are getting more hurt, honestly, just with the overplay. Not the overplaying with Tibbs, because Tibbs plays his guys, you know what I mean? So I can't say that he's running these guys out down to the ground or some ish like that, honestly. This is how Tibbs has played. I've never heard a player complain about it too as well, honestly. It's just unfortunate that you lose Julius Randle from the regular season. You lost Boban in the beginning of this postseason. You just lost OG Anunoby too as well. Mitchell Robinson too as well. You lost throughout the postseason. It's unfortunate to lose 4 players like that to your rotation. You're making fun of them for playing 6 guys. Well, if you give them the 4, there we go. We got a full rotation all over again, honestly. So it's just unfortunate with the Knicks. I don't believe that they can overcome these injuries against an efficient offense like the Pacers, honestly. And you can see that they've turned up their defense too as well. So I originally picked Knicks in 7, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Pacers won in 6 and all. So, but we'll see. Like I said, this team is built for moments like this too as well. That's why he plays these guys hard like this too as well, because it works in situations that they're about to deal with in Game 5 in MSG, honestly. So I wouldn't be surprised they overcome and won this game. But if we're just looking at it on the previous games, I just have to give the Pacers the edge. Knicks are just stumbling, bumbling, honestly, with injuries and hurt situations, honestly, with their players and all. And you got the Pacers team with their youth and inexperience. They're only going to it's just going to get better. They're going to progress more than go backwards, honestly, especially if they're able to stay healthy and they're able to play an 8 to 9 man rotation right now, where the Knicks are barely playing 7 players right now too as well. You have Josh Hart playing 48 minutes essentially in every game and all too as well. So it looks murky for the Knicks and all. With their moxie, you got to I definitely will give them a shot and all. But because of the Pacers' offense efficiency, like I said, I would give them the edge going forward into Game 5, and if it goes into 6 and 7, still give them that edge and all. Since this Western Conference series is so dope, I'm gonna leave this one last and all. It's been very dope, even though this series right here I'm about to get into with the Thunder and Mavericks has been pretty damn good too as well. A huge win for the Thunder in Game 4, honestly. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander again shows out, drops. Let me check. I know he dropped his 30 points once again. Like, why not? That's very guaranteed, honestly. It's death. Was it death, taxes, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander dropping 30 points, and he essentially did, dropping 34, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists and all. But he just had a huge game, honestly. You can argue what I said about Jalen Brunson being hurt and dealing with other things besides the foot. We can argue this about Luka Doncic with his knee, and I'm pretty sure some other ailments he's dealing with too as well. Can't say it's an excuse because he's playing at least and all, so I'm not going to count them out and all too as well. They've had guys like PJ Washington show out, Tim Hardaway showed out in the first half too as well. When Kyrie Irving honestly has ghosted out for the time being because he was hot before. You can understand there's going to be a variant to it too as well. So you're hoping that he can step up too as well because I think it's a series. As much as I like this other Western Conference series, remember when I said the East and the West? It's not as close. It's not as so far away as people think. These two series right here are killing my narrative to that too, or my agenda for that too as well. But the Thunder and Mavericks series, I think it's very close. The Mavericks have essentially out-rebounded the Thunder. They were out-rebounding the Thunder throughout Game 4, and that comeback that the Thunder made essentially dwindled the margins a little bit too as well. So I think that's like, I feel like there's more of an outlier, honestly. That's why I still like the Mavs, honestly. But if Luka is really like hurt, ailed, dealing with an injury and all, it's not going to be his full capability. I'm going to see Shai Gilgeous really step up to the occasion, really rise to the occasion, honestly. So like, again, how I said about the Clippers series and about Luka's health and all, and he was able to step up in Game 5 and 6. If he's able to do that, I trust the Mavs can win this series because of their advantages at rebounding, honestly, and just other players stepping up, honestly. Like I said, PJ Washington has stepped up. Tim Hardaway at time, when he's come back at least, has stepped up for them for what I've seen at least. He's been big for them. Even though he had that bad turnover and all too as well, which led to a Jalen Williams layup, which kind of clinched it, made it 96-91. It was a one-possession game for a while. That made it two possession, and OKC was able to hold that two-possession lead and all. But with the other guys stepping up, PJ Washington still stepped up to a way last night, even though he didn't drop 25 points and all, or 25 plus points. He still stepped up and hit some big threes in the first half and all. They just went cold. I feel like that's more of an outlier. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been the only consistent thing to the Thunder, honestly. Jalen Williams has been so-and-so. You got to shout out to Lou Dort and his defense at least and all. Maybe that's what's helping. But I haven't seen consistency out of the other guys besides Shai. Chet, to a degree, has stepped up. I think he stepped up a bit last night, too, as well. But still, you're not seeing high impact the way Shai is really stepping up, honestly. So that's why I really do like the Mavs still in this series. You just got to give OKC credit. And even though they had that type of many comebacks this year, too, as well, honestly. So you can honestly say that's something that they do, too, as well. I'll give a shout out to Andrew Jones for that, too, as well, in the chat that I'm in with him and all. But that's what they do and all. So I'll give them credit. I still like Dallas. If Luka can muster up whatever he's dealing with and play, just baseline Luka Doncic basketball, I still like the Mavericks in this one. This should go 7. It looks like, honestly, especially if Luka's dealing with something, then maybe one more off game from him, and maybe the other 2 he steps up big time, honestly. But for this series right here, this is the creme de la creme, honestly. I don't care, honestly. Timberwolves and Nuggets has been awesome. The response on each side has been dope. The way the T-Wolves responded to the champions at their crib and all, and going up 2-0, honestly, and then how the Nuggets are showing championship moxie and coming back and honestly, to me, handling, even though the numbers and the margins, the difference in margins aren't the same. Maybe it's close, but I don't think it's the same, honestly, with the blowout that the Minnesota had in Game 2. You gotta love the way they came back and thoroughly dominated, in my opinion, those 2 games. In Game 3 and Game 4, honestly. You can argue maybe Minnesota's inexperience slowed. They came in a little full of themselves or a little soft in Game 3. I just think Denver just punched, and Minnesota had no chance of punching back, honestly. Now, I'm kind of concerned about way away it's been refed, because when you look at the first two games, Minnesota was very physical, and then they kind of were penalized for being physical in the second game, or in the second home game, game four at least and all. Or I mean, let me say it, in the next two games. There we go. The next two games at home than they were at the two previous games on the road against Denver, honestly. So I'm not sure how the refs will be calling it. I do have to fault Minnesota, because you should know that not that you should know things are going to adjust, but once you see that the refs are changing the way they're reffing it, you got to adjust a little bit. It happens in every series, honestly. You got to be able to adjust. So I won't give them too much credence. I won't give Timberwolves too much credence for that. But when I look at the Timberwolves and how they lost Game 4, it's just, can Cat step up for you? Lost by 8. He only gave you 13 points. If he's giving me 20 and you have the ball last, you have a chance of winning that game and all. So it's just, can Cat stay consistent scoring wise? Honestly, I'm kind of concerned about it, because when he sees a mismatch, he kind of forces it, especially when he starts throwing his elbow around. Honestly, I kind of hope he's kind of stays more patient, stays out on the wing. He calls himself the best shooter of all time, and if he was more patient, stayed on the wing, he can really prove that. Honestly, if he stays in the wing, his shot has been on when he's open and he's set and he's ready to let it go and all. So if he's just patient throughout the offense and stays at the wing position, stays at that wing, on the wings on either side, honestly, and sets his feet and all, I feel like that's what he should be waiting for, not forcing forcing it down the paint, honestly, unless it's an open lane, something clear. But I just think that's a weak part of his game that he kind of goes to too often. I think he should take it easy sometimes too as well. Take advantage of what you really got, which is his shot. Honestly, he's a lethal shooter. He is tops in the league as a big man, a guy that's almost 7 foot that can hit the three. Honestly, at a pretty damn good clip. Honestly, and we saw it with I think he had a 62-point game in the loss, unfortunately, with Charlotte, because of the way he plays sometimes. And that's what I get worried about with him too as well. So if Cat can show up, this is another 7-game series, honestly. I think it's essentially on him if Timberwolves win this series, honestly. And even though Ant does a little more talking than I think he doesn't deserve credit for, but I do respect it, at least and all, because he's putting it all out there, honestly. That man is going to show up though, so I can't put anything against that. Cat though, when he has his 20-point games, I'm seeing there's a win, and when he's not having 20-point games, it's a loss, honestly. I look at his past. I look at Cat's stats real quick just to see if that's really significance there. Yeah, 20 points in game 1, they won. 27 points in game 2, they thoroughly won. And then he had 14 in game 3. 14 in game 3, 13 in game 4, honestly. So that's what I'm worried about with him at the end of it. Like, can he keep that 20-point clip going, honestly? He's not having a bad shooting at 3-point line. Again, he's not shooting well, except for game 4. And I would argue he probably just took a couple bad shots, honestly, because in game 3, even though he had 14 points, he was 4 for 5 from 3. Game 2, 3 for 5. Game 1, 2 for 4, honestly. And he had 12 rebounds in game 2. He had 12 rebounds in game 4, at least, not fair. But because he wants it, I will not argue that he doesn't want it. At least I just think he should be playing. He can be playing a whole lot better. He doesn't need to force the issue. Honestly, you have Rudy Gobert as an advantage in the paint. You can be a true advantage as a big in the outside if you focus on just making sure he can get himself open for the three instead of forcing it down the paint and throwing those elbows and all. So, but I do think this is the best series I think you're gonna see before we hit to the finals. Honestly, that's why I wanted to leave this one last, at least and all. I think it's there has been no home wins right now in this series too as well. So that's why I say this is why it's a dope series. The level of intensity is that high, honestly. That's how much desperation each team has. How Minnesota came in and beat Denver at home twice to start the series, and how desperate Denver came back and had to respond, or the series was over if they lose any of those games in Minnesota. And to me, they thoroughly dominated both games, honestly. Minnesota showed more fight in game 4, but still, every time, again, Minnesota made a run. I mean, Mike Conley hit some big threes, honestly, to keep them in that game, honestly. Minnesota, Denver would respond with a whole bunch of players, honestly. We got Justin Holiday showing out of nowhere, Christian Brown showing out of nowhere and making some big rebounds and threes too as well, honestly. And Aaron Gordon having a 10 for 10 start too as well, honestly. They're doing all this without Michael Porter going hot yet too as well, and you would expect them to show up for one more game in this series if it's a best out of 3 at this point and all. So, creme of the series, honestly. I do like Minnesota still. If Cat shows up, I'm gonna like Minnesota. I really think they can win the series easily if Cat shows up offensively and all. But if he does it, I just think it's up. I think it's all Denver's. They found their rhythm. I don't think you're gonna slow them down. The T-Wolves are gonna have to set their game up and all. But we're at the 24, about to hit the 25-minute mark. I do appreciate anybody listening or playing this on playback. After some time, I start promoting this and all too as well. But here we are. Obviously, the main focus of this podcast is the Boston Celtics, and right now they are 3-1 up on the Cleveland Cavaliers, one game away of going back to another Eastern Conference. I think I checked if they end up winning one more in these next 3 games. Well, I'm praying it's the next one. I ain't trying to be that objective. It better be the next one. But this will be their 8th Eastern Conference Finals in the last 10 years and all, which is truly amazing and all. And yeah, before I leave, there's a couple stats for the naysayers, and then for Jason Tatum doesn't show up, or are we questioning can he step up in the playoffs and all. This man, after Game 3, is in the list with the most playoff games with 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists at the age of 27 or younger. Jason Tatum is third after LeBron James, who has 30 of those type of games, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who has 25 of those games, and this just Jason Tatum with 24 of those games. That was after Game 3. After Game 4, yeah, that's how annoying this prognostication of Jason Tatum is, honestly. And look where he is. Look where he is at the age of 27 or younger. But after Game 4, he put himself in another rarefied air. And these stats are thanks to NBC Sportsnet in Boston and all. But with most games with 30 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists in NBA history, regarding the age, ladies and gentlemen, is the most games with 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. Jason Tatum is 8 on that list with 12 of them, behind LeBron James, who has 49. Kind of crazy. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's number 2 with 20. Larry Bird, number 19. So he's number 2 in franchise history with that stat. We got Nikola Jokic at 18 with him. Giannis at 5 with 15. Wilt Chamberlain at 14. Elgin Baylor, such an underrated basketball player right there too as well, and Elgin Baylor. But trust me, I've never watched Elgin Baylor play. But if I'm gonna have a little tangent right now, if people talk about the Michael Jordans, the Dwayne Wade, the Kobe Bryants, I'll even put Allen Iverson in that conversation. Elgin Baylor was the first of that. He was your first scoring machine, your James Hardens of the world and all. Elgin Baylor in the 60s was that type of basketball player. Don't know what, if you don't believe me, look up clips, look up the stats, look up the clips for sure to see how he played too as well. I feel like Elgin Baylor was the first of those type of no nonsense scorers, like just either looking. They have the ball and they're looking straight at the rim. They don't see their teammates. They don't see the defenders. They just see the rim and all. And we hear stories about Kobe Bryant and stuff like that. And even Julius Erving too as well. I feel like Elgin Baylor is the first of those type of players and all. So just the fact that I saw him on this list and all too as well. And the fact this is my podcast, I know I'm having a little grandstanding moment and all. But I think I wanted to show that out. Elgin Baylor is an important basketball player in history, honestly. And with his no championships, and we all know about the ring culture now too as well, a guy like that will be forgotten. I think a little bit of forgotten history, honestly, but I think he's truly important. He's one of the first of those type of players, honestly. And then after Wilt Chamberlain and Elgin Baylor being tied 6th with the most games with 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in NBA playoff history, Jason Tatum is 8 with 12 of them, like I said earlier, and all too as well. And Tatum 9 such games in the last 2 playoff runs, including the last 2 games that he's put up these numbers, honestly, with 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, and also a good sign to see that he's ready to turn this thing up. Almost a game away again to the Eastern Conference Finals and all, and he's chosen to turn up his play more than turn down when people say about the finals, or the finals mainly, honestly, because I think in every other series he has shown up for you too as well. The series before going to the finals, he's your Eastern Conference Finals MVP and all. But we'll end it there. We'll see how the series end up in Game 5 and all. I'm pretty sure I'll have one more episode because there's a good chance the Seas do win one more game, so my energy levels will be raised. Will be raised and all too as well. But we'll see after that game. We'll see how the other series end and all. I do like to have one more one more episode before the series ends. If one of these, I would think one of these series will go 7, so maybe there'll be an extra episode for that and all. We may save that when we do the preview of the conference finals on each side at least and all. We'll see how things play out at least and all. But again, enjoy your time. We will talk soon. Peace.